Welcome. Good morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're doing this practice. But this practice has really been designed as a morning practice, a sort of energizing, heating, awakening practice. And before we get started, I just would like to mention the importance of putting the breath as sort of the foundation of the movement. So for some of you who have a really active asana practice, a really powerful asana postural practice, you may at first feel like this is like a little boring. And I just really encourage you to focus on the breath. Focus on moving with the breath. And just notice how it sort of opens things up and maybe transforms your entire practice. Okay, so we'll actually get started standing. Go ahead, come to your feet. And come to the top of the mat. Take the feet about hip-width distance apart. With shoulders stacked over the hips, just start to swing your arms forwards and backwards. And we won't work with the breath quite yet. So this is just a movement of gravity. Imagine that you can flick off any tension or negativity from the shoulders all the way out through the fingertips. Good. Let the arms rest naturally by your side. Close your eyes. And with the eyes closed, start to circle around on your feet. Both directions, shifting weight to all four corners of the feet. And then once you find your center of gravity, ground into the feet, feel an upward movement of the spine, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back together, let them lie flat as you descend them down the back. Twice more. Inhale, lift the shoulders up by the ears, open them, roll them back, and exhale down the spine. Twice more. Inhale, lift them up, and exhale down. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, descend. Blink the eyes open if they're not already. Inhale, lift the arms overhead, grab hold of the left wrist. Exhale, up and over towards the right. Lengthen the tailbone down towards your heels so that the low back is neutral. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left, grab hold of the right wrist. Inhale, center. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, up and over to the right. Move with the breath. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Interlace the hands behind the back of the head. Hug your elbows forward. Let the head relax into the hands. Look up. You can put a gentle bend in the knees to send the tailbone down. Really open up through the upper back. Keep breathing here. It might feel a little intense on your triceps. Gently release, fold forward. Tent your fingers so you find some buoyancy in the hands and start to shift your weight forward onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels up. Legs can be bent or straight. Exhale, heels onto the floor. Shift the weight back. Lift the balls of the feet. Just notice what this does to the hamstrings. If it's early in the morning, it's likely that your hamstrings are a little gnarly right now. So just be very kind, very gentle. Keep the knees bent. Use blocks if you need to under your hands. We're just shifting weight forwards and backwards between balls of the feet and heels. And release your heels to the floor, weight on balls and heels. With a really long spine, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Good, we'll start a sort of modified Sun A. Move with your breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Let it last the whole length of the movement. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from your hips. Exhale, last the entire length of the movement. Inhale, halfway lift, find length in your spine. Exhale, fold, feel the low belly draw in to fold deeper. Inhale, rise, sweep arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more, just like that. Inhale, rise, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Low belly draws in and up. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Feel low belly draw in and up. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your palms and step back to downward dog. Take a nice long stance in down dog so that the heels are actually elevated off the floor. Spread your fingers really wide. Ground the fingertips, the knuckles into the mat. Then lift the hips away from the hands so your spine is really long. Send your pubic bone towards the back of your mat. Feel the strength in the foundation of the pose and an elevation through the spine and the hips. Then gently lower your knees to the floor, find a tabletop. And just start to wiggle the hips and the shoulders, spine side to side so that the spine is sort of undulating laterally. And with that same lateral undulation, you can take some big circles, add some more dimension to it. Big toes touch, send the hips back towards the heels, knees nice and wide, child's pose. Walk the hands over to the right side of the mat, tent the left fingers, reaching the left fingers as far as you can away from your left hip, and then relax the forehead down. Keep breathing. Good, walk your hands over to the other side, reaching right hand as far as you can away from your right hip. Lower the forehead down. And walk your hands back to the center of the mat. Spread the fingers wide, breathe in and look forward, then shift all the way forward onto the belly. Take your legs nice and wide, feet about as wide as your mat. Lift the hips so that you can adjust. Find a slight internal rotation of your thighs, then press the hips back down onto the floor. Make your legs really strong. And as you breathe in, lift up into a cobra. You might like to find a sort of full cobra, or if the low back is tight, a baby cobra. Just roll the shoulders up towards the ears and back, and then let the chest fall forward. So there's a lot of action happening in the muscles in the arms. Good, exhale, let that go. We'll take some rolling cobras. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, lift up. Exhale, release. 3 more like this. Move with your breath. Inhale, roll up and back. Exhale, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Stay lifted as you exhale. Then lift a little bit higher on the next inhale. And let it go. Press yourself back to child's pose. Stay for a couple of breaths. Downward facing dog. From your downward dog, breathe in and lift your right leg up. Exhale, bend your right knee, open your hip. And start to sink your left heel down towards the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs, square off the hips. And exhale, hug your knee in towards your chest. Gently plant the foot between the hands and lower the back knee. Keep your fingers tented. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another and soften the hips at the same time. So it's an opposite action. Even sway side to side. Good, lift the back knee, straighten the front leg. If you want to use blocks under your hands, you can do that. That might be helpful on the hamstring. Now, just like we did in our first forward fold, can you lift the ball of your right foot? So you're driving your heel down. Keep your hips nice and squared. Exhale. Inhale, bend your front knee. Plant the ball of the foot, send the chest forward. You might even lift the heel up if that feels good. Exhale, plant the heel, straighten the leg, lift the ball of the foot, fold over your leg. Inhale, come back into the lunge. Maybe you lift the heel. Be with your breath. Exhale, straighten front leg, flex the toes. And inhale, bend the knee, broaden across the chest. Spin the back heel down, warrior two, open up. Settle into the pose, gaze over your right fingertips. Breathe, be with your breath. Feel the power of this pose, right? What does this pose represent? This Virabhadrasana 2, this warrior 2, right? It's such a strong, empowering pose. So really embody that. Inhale, reverse the warrior. And exhale, extended side angle. Take your right hand down to the floor on the inside of the foot. You can take it to a block if you'd like. Reach left arm up and overhead. And we'll work with our breath here. So as you inhale, find some length through the spine. And as you exhale, sweep the left arm back behind you. Twist the abdomen up toward the ceiling. Inhale, release the twist, sweep the left arm over the head, lengthen your spine. Exhale, sweep the arm back, twist the abdomen towards the ceiling. Two more, inhale, lengthen. Ujjayi breath. Exhale, hand back, twist, chest up. Inhale, lengthen. Last time, exhale, back. Deepen the twist. Downward dog, plant your hands, step back. Inhale, lift the left leg high. And bend your knee, open your hip. Ground the right heel down. Square the hips, breathe in, lengthen outward through the lifted leg. Exhale, hug your knee in towards your chest, gently plant your foot. Lower your back knee, tent your fingers, find some buoyancy in the hips. You can feel it sort of settling into the lower half of the body. Lift the back knee off the mat, be strong in your legs. Take a breath in, broaden across your chest. Exhale, straighten the front leg, flex the toes, bow over the leg. Inhale, come to the ball of the foot, bend the front knee, lift the heel, broaden across the chest. Exhale, shift to the heel, straighten the leg. Move with your breath. Inhale, forward, lift heel, open heart. Exhale, plant the heel, lift the ball. Flatten the foot, bend the knee, spin your back heel down and come on up into your warrior two. Strong foundation. Again, embody that warrior two. What does it mean to be a warrior? A sort of peaceful warrior. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, come on into your extended side angle. I like to take my hand to the inside of the foot. If you would prefer to take it to the outside, that's fine. Reach the right arm overhead. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, sweep the arm back, twist the belly up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Inhale, arm overhead, lengthen your spine. Exhale, reach the arm back, twist the chest up. Twice more. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, reach back, twist up. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Hopefully your hips are feeling a little more open. And stay here for a couple more breaths in your down dog. And on your next inhale, look up towards your hands and walk your feet to the top of your mat, forward fold. Take your feet about hip-width distance apart. Tent your fingers. So have a super subtle bend in your knees. And as you inhale, lengthen your belly. So you're sort of hollowing out your belly. And then fold the belly over the thighs. Slide your hands underneath your feet. Toes come to touch your wrists. Elbows splay out to the side, sway side to side. And then shift weight onto the ball of the right foot. Lift the right heel off the floor. Feel a nice massage for your right hand. Ground your right heel down, switch to the other side. Press into the left ball of the foot, lift the heel. And release. Good. Plant your hands on the floor as if you were to press up into a handstand. Now, if you want to do this at a wall, you can. We're just going to do a little bit of inversion play just to get both our heart rate elevated and also get our heads below our hearts. So if you have a different inversion that you want to play with, you can go ahead and do that. If you're playing with handstand kicks in the center of the room, find a standing splits. Lift the left leg high. Ground into your hands. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Come up to the ball of your right foot. And then just start to lift and lower. So using the strength of your right leg, you'll press yourself up and down, just a few handstand hops. And maybe you get some air time. Just do that for 30 seconds or so, and then switch to the other side so that the left leg is down, right leg is lifted. You might notice one leg has a much easier time kicking up. I definitely have a favored leg. It's not this one. That's all right. It's just fun and energizing. All right, go ahead, find your forward fold. Bend your knees. Let your upper body drape over your thighs. Sway side to side. Step back to downward dog. Pigeon on the right, bring the right knee towards the right wrist. Lower your outer right shin and flex the toes. Ankle is pointed, toes are flexed. Come to your fingertips. Keep the back toes under and the back knee lifted. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another, lengthen your abdomen, and then you can go ahead and lower the back knee and fold over your front leg for pigeon, sleeping pigeon. You might notice the heart rate is still elevated, so just kind of feel into that sensation. And come back to your hands, switch other side, pigeon, left knee forward. Keep the back knee lifted, curl the toes, squeeze your inner thighs towards one another so the pigeon is nice and strong. And then you can lower the back knee and fold forward over the front leg. And if you're the kind of person who hates pigeon because it causes knee pain, don't feel bad. I was there too. I've got some really good tips. I'll make a video that goes over how to rid yourself of knee pain in pigeon eventually. I'll eventually make the video. If you're watching this later, I might have already made it, and you can just go ahead and look through and see if I already made it. Okay, downward facing dog. Take a big breath, look forward, and walk your feet all the way between your hands. Come to a seat. Take your left heel on the outside of the right hip, right leg up and over the left. Plant your right hand behind your low back, hook your elbow over your right knee. Now, before you get too deep into this twist, first think about sort of puffing out the low back. So it's like it's not like a rounding, it's more of a spacious, a broadening of the low back. Then twist, and then lift the chest and roll the right shoulder back. You're really working with an articulation in your spine. Keep breathing. And release. Other side, right heel to the left hip. Cross your right leg, left leg over. Tent the left hand. And then again, broaden the low back. So you're like making space. It's almost like you're lifting the middle part of your spine up and breathing into the mid back. Then twist and roll your left shoulder open as you elevate the sternum, the heart up. You can gaze over your left shoulder. You might even need to like replace your hand to assist you into a deeper twist. Release the twist. Come on down to your back for a dynamic bridge pose. Feet hip-width distance apart. Plant your hands next to your hips. Squeegee your shoulder blades closer together. Ground into your heels. Inhale, lift your hips, lift your arms overhead. Let the breath last the entire length of the movement. And exhale. Lower the hips, lower the hands back to your hips. As you do this, you can even count. Maybe count to 5. Inhale, lift for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5. Lower the hands, lower the hips back down. 3 more. Inhale, lift. As you do this, maybe you start to extend the length of each breath to 6 counts. Exhale, lower. And then maybe you extend the length of the breath as you lift to 7 counts. Lower for 7. And finally, count of 8. Inhale and lift. And lower for 8. Inhale, lift back up. This time, hold it at the top. You can stay in bridge if you like bridge. Arms can be overhead, or maybe you interlace hands and press the pinkies into the mat, taking shoulders closer together. If you have Urdhva Dhanurasana, wheel pose in your practice, go ahead and pop up, take your hands next to your ears. Keep the shoulder blades flat on the back, press into the heels. As you press into the hands, straighten your arms. And you can kind of shift weight between hands and feet. Continue to breathe. And everyone, come on back down. Sit bones down first. Knock your knees together. Take hands to your low belly and breathe. Just feel the effects of that practice, effects of that pose. Wheel pose can be almost like euphoric, the after effects. Whoa. All right, cactus your arms and let your knees fall over towards the left. If you want, you can stack your knees, just taking a gentle spinal twist. You could take eagle legs with the right leg over the left. Gaze to the right. And release the twist. Other side, let the knees fall to the right. Maybe you eagle the legs, the left leg over the right. And breathe. Breathe into the whole body. A beautiful gift of breath. That breath that is both voluntary and involuntary. And when it is involuntary, it truly is a gift. Come back to center. Hug your knees in towards your armpits for happy baby. Take hold of your feet. And then press your tailbone forward, so you might even slightly lift the low back off the floor. And sway side to side. Might also feel good to take the soles of the feet together and wrap your hands around your feet and kind of windshield wiper your knees side to side. Or not, that's not really the right terminology. Just kind of wiggle your tailbone side to side and feel good on the low back. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself one final squeeze. And open up into Shavasana. Take up space on your mat. Give yourself at least 2 full minutes here. I'll guide you through 2 minutes of Shavasana. And we'll finish class together. And as you lay in your Shavasana, it's this symbol of the close of your practice and a sort of threshold into the rest of the day. You can imagine or visualize what things your day might bring to you. What gifts could the day hold, and how do you want to feel? How do you want to interact with your day? Just hold that as your intention in your Shavasana. Please know that you can stay here as long as you'd like. Otherwise, slowly bend your knees, roll to either side, and come on up to a seat. Once you find your seat, take your palms to meet at the center of the chest, Anjali Mudra. Close the eyes, slight tuck of the chin. And trust that a seed has been planted. Your intention, however you'd like to approach the rest of your day, hold that between your hands, take a full breath in, fill up with that intention. And breathe out, let it go. Namaste.